this on the wall. It's just a real thin piece of plywood. And I put the little half balls around it. And I bought those. They come from Amazon. This is the pack. They come from Amazon. And this one is, let me see what the size is. These are 15 millimeter. And they come 100, let's see. Can't see what it is. I think it was, don't tell me how many's in the package or it's covered up under the thing. And you know what it says on here? It says, do not eat. I think you'd have a hard time chewing them as wood. See, oh, it's got 200 pieces. I can barely see that because they put the tag over it, but it comes 200 in the thing. And they fit perfect around this tray. When you get them, you get them like this. And they come 3 in a set. They were stacked just like this in a set. And I think while they were on sale, they were in the wood pile stuff. And I think while they were on sale at 50% off, they were only like $10 or $12. So you're only paying $3 or $4 for each tray, which is a super deal. And I did this one yesterday, like I said, everything except the putting the wax on the outer edge. And this one I haven't got this is the second size, and I haven't put the little things on. But all you do is lay them down around the edges. If you decide you want, when you do it and put these on, they're cut in half. The ball is cut in half, just like this. It has a flat back on it. And first I laid them out all the way around through there and spaced them out about where I would want them till I got them all the way around the tray. Then I went back with my wood glue. I just used Elmer's wood glue, and I went back with my wood glue and I glued them all on. And they'll dry almost immediately. So then I was able to paint it. And I painted it with a mixture of, I took my white that I use house paint. I've told you that before. And I use house paint called High Hiding White. And I mixed it to make me a color. And I just put it in a big plastic bowl like this. And I poured out some paint in there. And I mixed my colors with a little bit of brown and tans and stuff until I got the color that I wanted. So I got just a shade off of white, kind of an off-white or a pale ivory is what I got on that. It's not white. It's a little bit. Dana, it's in the wood department. I think their wood's called, gosh, I forgot now. The wood pile. I think it's called the wood pile, but it'll be back in the wood where they have all the wood section in the store. Ours is in the back left hand of the store. Of course, stores are all laid out different. And then I went in and I printed me some prints. See, I want my cow to be my focus. I'm going to use this black cow right here, I believe. Either this black cow or this bull, this Hereford, Highland. Either this Highland or this black one. And I printed it large. As you see, I printed it like on a 5x7. Then I printed me out some little pieces. If you want to layer things in a design and use them, as layers on the create your picture, then you just print them out individually. So I printed those out on a page, and I printed a full sheet of a print with my pattern. Let's see if I got one back here in a full sheet that I can show you, because I've already cut it out. I'm going to show you this one today, and then I think we're going to start meeting twice a week. Coming in twice a week, once in the morning and then 1 week on the evenings. So I'm going to show you something. And the tray, doing the tea set is going to be real simple with the tray. So that's going to be a real fast doing the tray. Is we're just going to do it either in checks or harlequin pattern. And I've showed you how to design both of those, how to put the designs on. So if you've got a tray, you can go ahead and get your tray started. The work is going to be in the teapot and the cream and sugar where you're getting your design on. But I printed this out. This is the design I chose to do as my background. And I printed it out in a full sheet, and then I cut it out. And I cut it, just do what they call a fussy cut. And I cut it as much as I could to get the white out of it. And I'm going to set it up there. I'm going to paint me some clouds in the back of this. We're going to do a little what we done yesterday in that class, but we're going to go a little farther this time, because I'm going to reset. I'm going to use these as overlays and put them in, over top of what we're doing. So we'll be doing a little bit different, to get it in here. But I'm going to paint some clouds with you. If you didn't watch us yesterday, I'll see. And with the clouds, like I've said before, if you're buying paints in the store and you're going to mix your, you need your colors, I don't pay any attention to what the color says on the bottle. I buy my paints according to the value of what colors I want. These are blues. So when I go in to buy blues, I'm looking for a dark blue, a medium blue, and a light blue. At least those 3 colors in my paints. And it doesn't matter what brands you buy. I don't like apple barrel paints, so I don't buy apple barrel paints. But it doesn't matter what brands you get in the others, either Folk Art, Americana, Delta, or whatever, that you don't have to have the same brand. These happens to be, these 2 are Americana, and this one is Accent, which is a real old paint. It was discontinued years ago, but I just happen to have some of it. So this is the 3 colors. I've got a dark blue, a medium blue, and a light blue. And then I will use white with that. And I do that if I'm buying greens, if I'm buying purples, if I'm buying blues, pinks, whatever. I have at least 3 values. Then I may pick up other colors in that same pink. Pink, there might be 25 different pinks. Well, I'll mix them. But I make sure if I'm doing something like a color, a highlight, and a shade, I stay 3 colors in that shade, or 3 shades in that color. 3 shades of blue, 3 shades of purple, 3 shades of gray, whatever I'm doing. Now I've got out a little bit on my palette. I'm going to put out a little bit of blue, and I've got a little bit of my, this one happens to be Winter Haven. This is like a baby blue, so I've got a little bit of that. Hey Debbie, glad to see you in here. And I'm going to put out a little bit of my light blue. So I've got a light blue, a medium, a light, a medium, and one that's a little bit darker on my palette. I'm going to put it over here a little bit so you can see my palette, what we're working on today. So I'm going to move you over a little bit. Okay, that way you can see my palette, hopefully, and you can see my paint thing too. And I'm going to use a wide, flat brush, big brush, because I'm going to put some color in the sky across through here. And I'm going to start with that wide, flat brush. So I've got the dark blue, the light blue, and a little bit of a medium shade of blue, 3 shades of blue over here on my palette. And I'm going to put a little bit of white, because the white will tone my colors down. And being as it's clouds in the sky, I'm going to pick up a little bit of gray. Those gray will be, this gray will just be a little darker shade. If I'm laying my clouds in there, it'll be a little darker shade of that. So on my palette here, I have a white, light blue, medium blue, dark blue, and a little bit of gray. And I don't need very much of anything. And I'm going to put me just a little bit of painting medium on my palette. Okay, in here, and turn this a little bit. Put me a little bit of painting medium on there, and I'm going to use my wide flat brush. And I want my clouds always go across your board. You never, when you're doing your board, your clouds are going to cross back and forth across the board, not up and down. You're not working up and down, you're working across. And what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to take put a little bit of my medium on my brush, and I'm using the full flat of the brush, using my brush flat. Pick that up, and I'm going to start with my light value of blue. And I'm just going to go in here, and I'm going to streak that across the top of my board. Your sky is called your horizon, or your line between your sky and your ground is your horizon line. So your sky is going to come down so far, and then your ground cover is going to come up to kind of meet that. I'm not putting a whole lot, but I'm just going in and taking this blue very lightly. I'm going all the way across my board, and I'm going to come down about 1/3 of what my board is. Okay. I can't see on my iPad down here what you all are seeing, so I hope you're seeing. Let me try one more time to see if I can get it to come up down here. Okay. My son's mowing grass, so I can hear the lawnmower. Okay, let's go back. Wait just a second. We're not in no hurry. Come on, pop over there. Okay. Now I think I'm up. Okay. Let me turn my volume down. Now I can see, hopefully see what you see. Okay. Okay, now maybe I can see. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. Okay, now I've went up, the light blue is very hard to see on that. So now I'm going to pick up my, medium shade. A little bit of medium on my brush, a little bit of the medium color on my brush, and streak that right across, back and forth. Okay. The medium helps to move it. See, it just helps to move my paint a little bit. And I'm coming about a third of the way down. Never to be able to figure out the iPad broadcast. Dana, my broadcasting, I have iPad and I have an Android. And my Android is what I film on. It's the best one that I have. I can work my iPad better, but the sound on my iPad doesn't project like the sound up here on my, when I first started I used my iPad and I didn't like that. And I would like to buy me a new iPad. That's the only thing when you buy Apple products, iPad and them, then you have, you know, they don't get but so many years out of them, and then they quit updating and you can't, it's buy you another one or quit using it. So that's, and I'm on my second one. I've had two in the last, 7-8 years probably. And I'd like to buy me a new one, a bigger one, but they're like $1,500, and so far I can't justify that. I can't get myself to do that. Okay, now I'm going to go in and I'm going to pick up a little touch of the dark blue and a little touch of the gray. And I'm just going to very lightly, see, you can see how that's just setting a little bit of color. And I'm still going across, always across that to get my sky in. When I put my clouds in, then I'll put them in a different way. But for now, I'm just working on getting my sky in there. If you get too dark with those colors, you can always pick you up a little bit of white and tone them down a little bit. So see, right now I've just went across, back and forth. Now I'm ready to go ahead and make some clouds in here. Okay, so I'm going to put this brush up here, and I'm going to pick me up a brush. This is a scrumbler. And this is a brush you use straight up and down like this. You pounce it. You don't, it's a stiff bristle brush, okay? So I'm going to pick up, this is straight white paint, no medium on it, nothing on my brush, but just straight white paint. Okay, turn you around a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to, let's see. In our household, we are between buying an Android and a chainsaw. Guess what'll win? I bet the chainsaw wins. Oh, I bought my Android last year, and I paid about $600-800 for it. And my granddaughter had one just like it, and she said, "This is what you need, Mama." So I bought one. So to jump in and buy another iPad right now is, I can't make my mind comprehend to do that. I will eventually, but not right now. So I'm going to pounce this in the paint. I'm going to put it in the paint and put it on my brush by just pouncing up and down exactly the way I'm going to use it. So right up and down in that paint. Then I'm going to go in here, and I got a runny nose again, or allergies are driving us all crazy. And I'm going to go in here and just kind of set, and I'm just going to kind of think about your clouds, and what you're doing is the top of the cloud. So I'm just going to go in here and just dibby-dab up, pouncing it kind of hard so that the cloud, the top of the cloud is what I'm putting in right now. See, I went across there. Now I'm going to take the bottom. If you'll look up at the sky, once you paint clouds and you start looking at what they are in the sky, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Because the cloud is strong at the top, and then the bottom just fades into the sky. So I'm setting that down there, pouncing it up and leaving the strong on the top. See that cloud? Now I'm going to go right back in, pick me up some more white, and go right over here, come down just a little bit, and maybe make just a little one. And doing the same thing. I pounce it on there, and then I'm back and forth underneath it to get it down. See, now I've put 2 in there. Now let's get another little bit of white. We're going to work our way right down through there till we get some. That one's just kind of connecting in with the other one. Okay. Now I may take a little bit of gray or a little bit of the dark blue, put me a little bit of white on there and a little bit of the dark blue, and just kind of put a dark one down here. I'm going to sneeze, I do believe. Whew, when I sneeze, everybody knows it. Got a little bit of color in these now. Putting a little color of dark ones down under there. I got to turn you around. I don't think you can see that. I'm not a good thing today, girls. Okay, now. Okay, now, see what I've got in there so far? I'm going to drag that one a little bit. But that puts, if you put 2 clouds together, contrasting, then you got to go with like 2 different colors. So, if you wanted it to be a real cloudy day, something you're doing real cloudy, then you put a little gray in there, and you'll make your sky turn a little, you know, a little dreary for the day. You can do that if that's what you want. But then you're white, but you're just working back and forth to get your colors in there. And you get the bottom of the cloud stays strong, and the top and the bottom, you just kind of drag it out from one way to the other. And that's about it. That's about what I'm going to put in there. Okay? Now, I'm going to just leave that set and it'll dry. Let's see. I think I need a little one right over here. So let's come over here and put me a little bit of one, not a very strong one, just a small one over here on the side. Okay, yeah, that carried him over. I needed a little bit over there. Okay, I've got my sky in now, and I'm going to lay that down, and I'm going to go ahead and clean my brush, put my brush in the water. Boy, we don't have but 5 people in here today. That's odd, girls. Especially with Candy. I talked to her, she's called me, she's from Oregon, and she called me last night. She called me on Messenger. If there's a time when you girls need to ask something, I don't mind a bit. If you just go on the Messenger and you hit the call button and call me, that's fine with me. If I'm on the computer or hear it ring, I will definitely answer and talk to you. So that's okay with me. Now, I've took my pattern, this is my next piece, and I've cut it out. This is a different picture than what I put on the other one. And when I created this one, when you're creating, the things you put in the smaller back here in the back makes them fade back into the background. When you're working on something, when you're painting a painting, if I was painting this whole tray and going to paint it, and I start with the sky. You start with the thing that's the farthest away from you, which would be your sky. Then you work your way forward. So what I would put back next in there would be trees in that background. Under that sky, I'd put my trees in. Then I would bring my buildings in and my grass, just like I've done here on creating this one digital. See, I went in there and I've set those trees. See, that puts them way back. That puts them, this little piece right here is the forward part of this picture. So see how that puts that back there, and your trees and stuff all matches up right under that sky. That means this ground level right here where it's under that house, that's my horizon line. If I was going to paint a picture, that would be where my ground starts. And I'm coming up a little bit high on the board because I'm going to go back in. See if I've got my cow over here cut out. I haven't cut out my cow yet, but I'm going to go back in and make this cow my focal point by putting him down here on this edge, and you will see him. He's going to be the forward thing, the thing that's, you know, closest to me, and he's not a whole cow, he's just a piece of one. But this sets it down, and you see I've got the sky. Now sometimes when I create them, I put that sky in there, but I'd rather do it this way. So I've put the sky in with my brush, and now I've put the design in, and I'm going to set that down, and I'm going to decoupage that on there. Okay. So this one's going across. I'm going to get my decoupage brush, my brush that I used to put my glue on with. I've got my glue over here. Okay. Oh, it's been a hectic week so far, but it always is. The weather's finally, we had to have the heat on. It got cold last night and have the heat on, and then this morning it's warmed up. It's beautiful outside. So it's a gorgeous day. Okay, now I'm going to set this down just about where I want it to be, and I'm a little bit higher. I've got a little more space down here because I'm going to put that big cow in down here. So I'm going to start on one side, take my glue, put me some glue down on that side. Okay. Doesn't take very much to glue this down. Okay. We got a private class today. Hey, Joan, glad to see you. We're a little low on people today. Okay, now I'm going to take my hand and I'm going across that, putting that down on my board, working my way across a little bit at a time. You watch a replay, Joan, see what we done before. We've painted clouds in, and now we're getting our main picture in, the main middle part. So I've got that down. Now I'm going to raise it up, flip it over here, and put my glue down on the other side. If you watch Kathy Girls from Royal Funky Junk, if you go back in today, I'm going to share it to my page. She did a video today using one of my designs from the shop, the one with the cowgirl boots and the real feminine thing, and she did it in it with some pinks and stuff in it. It's really pretty. Okay, now I've got it on there, and I'm going to work my way back over from that middle, trying to keep from getting any bubbles underneath it. I'm coming from the middle over to the left. You always have to sneak around those edges. The very last thing, you want to be sure your edges are glued down good, so you always have to sneak right around those edges to get it all glued in. Make sure all your edges are down to your board. And you can take your saran wrap or your paper and go across with them. Okay, now I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to go right here underneath these edges. Make sure everything gets glued down good along the edges. Okay. I left the Mod Podge brush last night out here. I took it out of the water and left it, and then this morning it was so dry I couldn't use it, so I had to switch to another one. That's the only thing, that glue will dry on your brush so quick. That's why I just usually leave mine in the water. And this one's a little bit long for what I'm doing, so I don't like it very well for putting glue on. It's the hairs on it's too long. Okay. Now I'm going to work my way right around, and I'm going to go ahead and put the glue on top of my print to seal it in there as I'm going around. Seal that in. You can hear my lawnmower because my workroom is built in half of my front porch, so you can hear the lawnmower when he's mowing the grass. Okay. So I'm just working right on around there. Seal my print in. This is what I'm doing to seal. One of the girls asked yesterday about sealing because it's different. Varnish and sealing. Sealing is usually done with Mod Podge. Now yesterday I wanted to, before I put the wax, I'm going to wax around on these beads, and before I did that I wanted to put a sealer, a good sealer on those beads to do before I got in there, because if you don't seal those beads, you can't wipe none of that wax off. If you get too much on there and you don't like what you've done and you've not put a sealer underneath it, then you can't get it off. Otherwise you can take a baby wipe or something and get it off. Now, normally I would go ahead and seal with my Mod Podge, with my glue, but since this is so delicate in between all these, I took it outside yesterday evening. I took that one outside and I sprayed it. I just sprayed over the whole print, and I didn't use a gloss spray. I used a matte spray sealer, and I sprayed over the whole thing so that I could put my wax on those beads and still be able to wipe it back to use it. Okay, now we've got the print in there. See, that's real pretty. Now we're going to go down and we're going to work on the bottom down here, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do to that. And I've got, like I said, I've got this cow, this big cow here, and I've got a black one. I can't decide. Now this one I have to use a right-handed one that goes on the right. This one's turned into reverse section. So I could use this one, or I can use this black one. And this black one's a little bigger, so I think I'm going to use him. And I also, on this black one, I made me some little trees. I made a couple little sheep there, a couple little lambs, and I cut me out some made me some trees. So I'm going to go in now and I'm going to cut out the cow as soon as I find my scissors. I'm going to cut this cow out. Okay. I want to show y'all too how to crackle. So I think we might, I think either this week or next week we'll start doing a short class of the evening, or one where it's just I show you something special, like just show you crackling, or show you, we have a question and answer session just to talk, to see if there's anything from the last week that you want to ask me or do. We'll do that, and it may last, 45 minutes to an hour. We won't spend a lot of time. Now I've got a lot of these little flowers here on that pattern are too much over in the white, so I'm just going to get rid of them. I will paint those back in with my brush, so I'm going to go in and just work my way around those flowers. And I can pull some little hair. He's got some little sprigs of hair coming out around his face. I can do that with a brush too, like his eyelashes in here. So I'm just cutting him up close, doing the fussy cut to get this cow up cut out close. Okay, I cut him out real close. Now this section over here I won't be using. When I lay him down on my tray, I will lay him down so that is hidden in here, but he's going to be the pure focal point of the whole picture. So I'm going to set him down. I will put him on just about like this so that he's on that whole print there. But first I'm going to go in here and paint this in and make some ground down here, and maybe put those two little sheep down there. I might put another little tree up here. Okay, so I'm going to lay him aside, and I'm going to get out my greens. Now the same way with my greens as I was with my blue and my dirt color. I'm going to put me out a little bit of dark green. This one just happens to be evergreen from Americana, so I'm going to put out a little bit of that from a dark shade. Then I've got a avocado here. I've got a dark, a medium, and a light. And that's what I want, one of each color. Okay, so I've got a little bit of my dark on my palette, plus on my hands. And I'm going to put out a little bit of medium on there, and a little bit of the light shade. And I need a couple of colors for the dirt that's underneath him. So the dirt, I'm going to use this, this is like a sandy color. And then I'm going to put out a little bit of, let's see here what I got over here, maybe a sienna. So I'm going to use these two, and then maybe a little bit of burnt umber. So I'm going to put a little touch of this one. So when I start working on the dirt, I will mix those colors, kind of mix them. Got three, let's see, 1, 2, and I'm going to put just a little bit of umber. I may not need that umber, but I'm going to put it in there. Put me some out, and I'm going to put a little bit of painting medium on my palette. So, Debbie, I like the fussy cut too, and I like some things on the wet. You know, I don't mind doing the wet, but I like them cut out. I don't want this. I try my best. I work hard to get rid of the lines around my designs. I want those lines to not show. And just like I did on that when we done that cake plate, sometimes the amount of varnish you put on there will get rid of, you know, most of the time it will if you put enough on it. But I don't want to put 15 coats of varnish on this piece, you know, on that, to spend that much time and stuff fooling with it. So I try my best to do all I can to get rid of the lines as I'm going, so that I don't, you know, you don't see those lines and they're not harsh. But I'm going to go back in with my flat brush now. I'm going to use a flat brush, and the ground has got to go across just like the other did, just like the sky. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of my medium, and I'm going to start with like a medium shade of green. I'm going to use my medium color of green first, and I'm just going to go right down here by the bottom of this, and I'm going to go across here. Going right up over the print, painting right up into it, because I'm going to work to do all I can to get rid of as much of the lines as I can as I work this paint down this page, down this board. So I'm doing my dark green, coming down with that. The medium is helping it to spread. I'm using the medium to make it spread across my board. And you have to pick up quite a bit. It has to be kind of wet to get it on there. Then I'm going to go in and pick up a little bit of my dark green, and right up here close to where my line is at, where my paper line is at, I'm going to make that a little bit darker along there, trying to get rid of that line. Same way, right up under the chickens and under the flowers here. I'm going up here. See, I'm working right up in here now, right up close to that, to help get rid of that line. So, and that's when, if I need to, I will pick up a little bit of a different shade. But I'm going right up over the paper, painting right up over the paper on there, and I'm going to pick up some of the browns, maybe a little bit of that dark brown, go right on top of the crack where the crack is at in the paper, and put that in. And I will pull some grass and some leaves, some grass, maybe some little flowers and stuff up through there, so it will help me to get rid of that. I'm going to put a little more dirt down in here, a little of the dirt colors, which is this sandy color. And I'm going to tone this sand down up here with a little bit of what I already have, so that they kind of match a little better. Even pick up a little touch of white every now and then, to just kind of tone that down. I'm just playing back and forth with this color here. And I'm using my painting medium right along with it. And I'm just going to kind of let it fade to the bottom. I don't care about the bottom. I'm not going to take it all the way down to the bottom of that board. I'm just going to come down here like so. Mixing colors, trees, clouds, dirt, all have many, many colors in them like hair does. So you can work, as long as you stay in the colors that you think would go in there, you can work that back and forth until you get all your colors in there, you know, working with your different colors. I'll go up here and put a little bit of this umber in up here where I get that, so that it carries it all the way through the picture. Put a little bit of umber. There's a lamb standing over here, a little one. I put a little burnt umber right under his feet. And this chicken too. That little darkness under the feet, under their feet and stuff, that little darkness kind of plants them down in the ground. See here? Now I've got it. See how I've got that kind of dragged out in and out? And it kind of plants it down right down into the ground. It's so big I'm having a hard time showing you and looking at it too myself. Okay? Now, I've got that for now. I could go back in now, even now, and put me a little bit of grass in there in a few places. I can take this scrumbler brush and pick me up a little bit of the green, a couple shades of green, and just go in like this and just kind of touch and pull. pull it up right up around that stump there. There's a stump, and I'm just kind of pouncing it and pulling it forward a little bit so that I'm putting a little bit of grass down in there. And again, I'll work with my different colors because the grass is going to be in all different shades, you know. Grass is not just green. When you start painting, especially landscapes and stuff, when you go out and look outside, you'll see things outside in the wilderness and places. You'll think, well, that does have, that tree's not just, you know, just one color, or that cloud is not just one shape. They're all different shapes and all different kinds of trees and things you notice that you never noticed before you started, you know, learning to paint. See, there's some grass up there, so I can just go right up there and hit that grass again with a little bit of different color. Pull it right up through there. And this brush is a stiff bristle brush, and I'm just pouncing and pulling, pouncing and pulling. Now, can you see the grass right down through here is my grass? And I just hit the brush and pull it up, hit and pull it up, hit and pull it up, till I went all the way across there with different colors. And that set the grass down in there and the thing. That's looking pretty good. See, when you get back away from it a little bit. Okay, now, I've got a, I think I'm about even on these sides. I thought I would set a tree in over here, but I don't believe I will. I think I'll just leave them two, just leave that to fade out like it is. I'm not going to set anything else over there. I might take me a little bit of color right over here in this grass and drag it out to where it's not even. I've got an even line there. My cow's going to go over here, so I've got an even line cut off here. So I'm going to go over here and just a little bit and pull a little bit out there on the side to just drag that color out a little bit. Sometimes my light gets to where I have to turn it to be able to see the light reflects on it. Okay, I just pull that back and forth just a little bit. I don't want to do too much because I might make it too strong. Okay. Okay, I think I'm about ready to set my cow in there. And then we'll go back with some little liner things. I have a sheep here that I might just cut him out and set him right down here like he's looking back. This little sheep has got his head turned back up here. He's got his head turned back. So I'm going to cut him out. And I'm going to set him in there like he's looking back at that cow that's coming at him. And I'm doing a fussy cut on it, kind of getting rid of as much of the paper as I can. You can layer all kinds of things into a picture. You can start with, you could start with back here with just one house. You could cut out and just go back here and have you one building cut out. You could start with this one, piece it in there, and then you could piece your trees in, piece your other. You could piece every bit of that across there in if you wanted to. You cut everything out individually and piece it across there. Now I've got this little sheep, and I think I'm going to set him right down here. Let's see if I'm going to have to turn it. I'm going to show you here, but I'm going to turn him so I can see what he looks like. Because he's got a little bit too much white on him to suit me. So I may have to just cut him out precise. My other sheep, let's see what the other one looked like. Okay, that one's got his flowers around him. I'm not going to use, I'm going to go back in. I did two of them, and this one doesn't have any flowers around him. So all you're seeing is the sheep itself. So I'm going to go back in and cut him out. So I don't have any white paper showing around this little sheep. So this is a real fussy cut. I'm cutting every bit of it out. Okay. Okay, I'm in now. Oh, Joan. Yep, you're in. Okay, did you cut paper dolls? Yes, I did, Cheryl. I have my sister and I, paper dolls was a big thing when we was little. I have a sister, a younger sister. There's only 21 months between us, so we grew up almost like twins. And she and I played with paper dolls all the time. Now I'm going to even go in between his feet. He's got some grass there, but I want to get that white out between his legs, between his feet there, so I'm going to go right up in there and cut that out. Paper dolls was a big thing. Set those little cardboard houses up and play with paper dolls for hours and hours, especially in the wintertime. Where we lived, we had a lot of snow in the winter, so. Okay, I've got this little tiny sheep. See here? I've cut him out, even cut his legs out. See there? So I'm going to set him in there. I'm going to put him right here for now to see where I'm going to place my cow. Now let's see, I've got my cow. I got to cut my cow out. Where'd my cow go? Okay, I've got him cut out, and I'm going to put him over here, and I'm going to back him up right to the thing here, because I'm going to cut him. Cut it out to where he's just sneaking into the picture. So I'm going to take my fingernail and push it right down in that groove so that I get him cut, get him cut out. I've got a line to go by there to cut him out. Okay, now. Okay, let's see here. I've got this to cut out. Another 30 minutes or so. She's home. Yeah, she was sick this morning, Joe. Yeah, she's in. It was Joe seeing if he has to pick Morgan up from school. She's sick today. She'd been sick this week and she went on to school, but we've got colds and stuff going around. Summer cold is horrible, so she got up this morning with a sore throat. And I just fixed her up and doctored her and sent her back to bed. Okay, now I'm going to set that right down along that edge. He's going just like he's peeking out and walking into that picture. See, I'm going to set him right there. He's just walking his way right into that, up on that farm, and he's looking to see who's watching him as he comes up through there. So I'm going to come in and set that little sheep right down over here beside him. So I'm going to go ahead and put him down. Get my glue and put him down into the thing. We've got thrift stores. I don't know if you girls, of course, Carm wouldn't be in your, let's see, Carm is, it's Knoxville. It's a Knoxville thrift store section. They do a thrift store that does some charity work in Knoxville. But it's not, they do some good work, but they also, their stores, and the last 6 months or so, their prices have went clear out of sight. And yesterday I went in there and I wasn't in a good mood. So I spoke my piece. I was looking at some metal trays, and they had one price, beautiful tray, and it's got a scalloped edge. I bought it. It was priced $12, $11.99, which was okay. I paid $12, $15 for it. Then they had a little plain silver tray, about 10 or 11 inches silver tray, nothing ornate, plain and simple. They had it priced $19. And they had another one, simple one, those two were priced $19 a piece in the thrift store. And I went up to the counter and I asked the lady, I said, ma'am, look at the prices on these. And I said, why is this one $11, $12, and these are $19 when they're smaller and they're both silver plate? What's the difference in the price? Well, we price them. I said, how do you price your stuff? I said, you girls, and I give a lot to Carm. I do a lot of donations, give a lot. And I buy a lot from Carm. And I told her, and she said, well, it's just according to what they sold for online. And I said, ma'am. And we went back and forth, and she told me, I said, well, how do you decide what kind of price when your things are donated to you? How do you decide what kind of price you're going to put on that? And she said, we look it up online, and we charge a third of what it's selling for online. I said, ma'am, you're nuts. I just looked at her. I said, you're nuts. I said, this little tray would never be $60 online. I don't care where you're looking, not even new. This tray's not $60. If you're charging a third of that, that's $20 you're charging for that tray. You're not going to show it to me online. And, well, have you ever looked online? She said. I said, ma'am, I buy online, I sell online. I know, I've been doing that for years. And I said, you go on eBay and show me a tray like that that says it's $60 for a used tray. She said, well, that's the way we price our stuff. And she said, don't you know it's for charity? I said, ma'am, I realize that it's for charity, and I appreciate that, and that's okay. I said, but no, you not understand too that the people who come in here on an everyday basis to shop are people that don't have a lot of money, and if they're looking for clothing or stuff in your store and you're pricing it that kind of prices, they can't buy that either. So who are you going to sell your merchandise to? Well, we went around and around. I bought the one, then I left. And I went out to the car, and the more I thought about that, the more aggravated I got. So I was in the parking lot the next place I went to. I forgot. I went to Ross's, or I went somewhere, anywhere. Anyway, I was sitting there, and I pulled up eBay. I went to Hobby Lobby. And I pulled up eBay. Those trays were $9, $10, $12, $14. None of them. Now, they had big, ornate, beautiful trays that were priced $50 and $60, and that's normal. You do that. But there was not one of those little trays that I could find that was priced over $20. And I thought, Lord have mercy, that. So I called back out there, and I asked to speak to the manager. And I went online to look at their reviews. And their reviews were crazy. Every other review they had talked about how outrageous their prices were. And I called back out there and asked to speak to the manager, and I explained to him I said, I was just in your store, and I explained to him, and I said, you're not doing your pricing correctly. And I said, you're pricing yourself right out of business. I told her, I said, I've shopped a lot in here, and I won't be back to shop anymore, and I won't be giving any more donations either. And I said, and I told him, and he said, well, we do get a lot of complaints about our prices. I said, wouldn't you rather sell something? You're getting it free. It's coming to your store free of charge. Wouldn't you rather sell that and make $10 on that tray is to try to sell it for $20 or $25 and it sits there for a year before you sell it? I said, do you not understand the rule of buying and selling? You know? And he apologized. He said, well, I know. I said, well, whoever's doing your pricing needs to take some classes and learn how to do it. And I told him, I said, that bothered me, and I just wanted to tell you what I think, and that's all. I said, I appreciate you talking to me. Goodbye. But that just blew my mind that they would do that. Okay, I'm back to work now. I've told you my tale for the day. Okay, I'm going to set this little sheep, this little lamb, I'm going to set him right down over here, right down where he's looking back to see where that cow's coming from. So I'm going to put him on there, raise him up here, hold my finger in place, put me a little bit of glue down there, and glue that little fella right down. I was in such a bad mood then, I went to Hobby Lobby to look. I was looking to see what kind of Easter stuff they had on sale. And I did find a few little things, not much, and I needed a couple of bottles of paint. But they do have all their Easter products 65% off. So if there's things that you like, they had a good deal on them. Okay, I put him on there, and I set him right over top of the paper that I had. See, my little sheep is sitting in there. And then now I'm going to go back and glue my cow in. I'll put some little flowers under his feet and stuff in a minute, some little greenery stuff. Now this cow's going right up over this paper, so you're just gluing him down. This is layering. You're just layering your prints on here, and you can do that with anything you're doing. Now it doesn't work too well with napkins. You have to be careful when you're using napkins and layering them, because it doesn't work as well with napkins as it does with rice paper. I've got his head glued in. I'm going to pull the back side up here. I come home, told my husband, I said, well, I got on my soapbox today. my kids, I get tickled at my kids. Something that frustrates me to no end is going through a drive-through and placing your order and you don't get nothing you ordered. Your order's all wrong, and that blows my mind. I don't eat much at drive-through except to run through and get something for my kids, for that simple fact that you cannot, 6 or 8 out of 10 times you don't get what you ordered. And I get very frustrated with that. The first time my kids and my youngest one called me Karen. She said, "Mama, you're a Karen." I said, "Morgan, what is that?" And I don't know how they give it the name of Karen, but a Karen is somebody that complains all the time. I don't know how they started it by calling it a Karen. She said, "That's somebody that complains all the time, and you're just being a Karen," she'll say. Okay, I think I've got him glued in there. Hey, Miss Teresa, glad to see you. We don't have very many people today. Okay, now I've got my cow in there. See, he looks pretty good sitting there. He's just popping right into that picture. And see, that little sheep is little. That little sheep is quite a distance away. According to the picture, he's quite a distance back here watching that cow come toward him. So, and Candy, sorry I didn't get back to you sooner. I'm here and we'll watch the replay later today. That's good, Candy. It's okay. We all have stuff come up, girls. We all do, and it's no big deal because you can't always go in and watch a replay. Okay, now I'm going to go in and I'm going to put a few little flowers. I got to put some glue over top of my cow. I done did that over the sheep, so I'm going to go in here and put a little glue on the top of him. Then I'm going to go back and pull his hair out a little bit to make him a little fuzzy around the head and his ears and stuff, because he would have hair sticking out on him. So I'm going to go back in and do that. Just doctor him up a little bit. This is a big black heifer. We had cows when I was growing up. I didn't like that. We had milk cows, and Sheila and my sister and I had to go to the mountains and hunt them cows and hunt that cow and bring her home to be milked. And when you're 10, 12 years old, that's not a good thing. You don't like that. We always had dogs that went with us to help. And I never could learn to milk. Mom tried and tried and tried to teach us how to milk. I couldn't do that either. Okay. Okay, see there? He looks pretty good. Okay. Now, I need a few little flowers, so I'm going to go in here, put that in the water, get rid of my glue, and get me out some little colors for some little tiny flowers. I've got my greens out for some little stems. Got to put a little dirt under his feet. Got to plant that little lamb down on the ground. So I'm going to take my flat brush, a little bit of painting medium, and a little bit of my dark brown, and I'm going to go right here under his feet and come back and forth across under his feet to put a little bit of ground under him. Just dibby-dabbing back and forth. See what I done? I just planted him down till he's got something that just give him something to sit on there. He's sitting on a little bit of dirt. Okay. Now I got to go back and pick up just a tat and put it right up here underneath his back foot a little. Okay, now that's the only one. I think I need to go in now and put me in a few little flowers. So I'm going to choose me some colors. Let's see, I can put some daisies in there, or I can put some sunflowers. Let me find me a sunflower color. Let me get over here, girls. Look through my paint. That'd be something I can use for sunflowers. There is a yellow ochre. Let's try that, see what that looks like. Okay, that's a pretty good color. You can just pick whatever colors you like if you're putting some little flowers in there. I can put some daisies in, so I've already got gray and white out on my palette. I've already got those colors out. And I'm going to find me a small flat brush, something that I can do that touch, press, and pull to make those little strokes. Okay, first let's take the liner brush, take my striper, and this cow is black, so I'm going to put out a little bit of black, and I'm going to make his hair grow just a little. So I'm going to turn him up this way. I've got a mess here all over the table. I'm going to pull a little bit of hair up off of his head and a little bit here around his ears. So this time I'm going to put my brush in the water, and I'm going to run it through the black and a little touch of the gray. I'm going to mix those so that my gray and my black is mixed a little bit. I just get a darker shade of gray. And this I'm using water to get it to come off of my brush because I'm using this big long striper to put those in. And I'm just going to come in here and right at the top of his ears, I'm going to pull up some little hairs around his ears there. Just teeny tiny little strokes around his face. Because he would have some little stray hairs there. Same way on his back here. I'm just going along his back with just a few little hairs. And I'm going to pull, he's got some coming down in his face, inner face here. This must be a lady. So I'm going to come here and reinforce these in the face a little bit. I'm using the gray and the black and just pulling those down in there. And I'll let them come up a little bit above the head. I'm doing these little things right here. That's a little bit dark. Okay. Okay. Go back in with a little gray and tone it down a little bit. Just got a few little sprigs of hair there. Over here on this ear and pull up a little bit. Okay, now he's got some right down on his mouth. He's got some of them little sandy colored hairs right down here at the bottom of his mouth. So I'm going to pick up that dirt color that I used for dirt and come in here and just pull a few little bitty ones. That I'm going to mix a little white with it to get it to show up. Right under his mouth. Just let his hair grow just a little bit. See, I put a little bit right there on top of his head, and just a little bit right on top of the ears. A little bit down here at his mouth like that, okay? Now I'm going to go in here with this same brush, and I'm going to pick up some of my greens and reinforce my flowers, my grass stems a little bit. Right under this little lamb here, I'm going to pull up some grass with my liner brush. My little fingers controlling that. And I'm just going across right under his feet with the greens. I'm used to middle green. I'm going to go in with the light, put a little bit of grass under his feet. Right up here, this little daisy, I'm going to put a little bit more under that, under the stump. There's a rooster. We've got roosters and chickens up here. Putting a little bit under their feet. Just a little highlight colors here and there. Up here underneath this little, up here's another little lamb, and I'm putting some colors up under him. Okay, see, we've already got grass. When I made the design, I put grass up here under his truck. So I just went in right here and put a little grass under his feet here, put a little under this rooster here, a little more along the stump. And then I can just set a couple of little tiny flowers down there at his feet where the lamb is at. And I'm going to pick up, I've got a little flat brush. a little bit of medium on it, a little bit of white, a little bit of that dark ochre color for the yellow, putting those two colors together. And I'm just going to go down here and kind of touch it down and put me a few little flowers on that branch there. Just 2 or 3 little strokes, and they're not really noticeable. You know, you don't want them to stand out. It's just a little tiny bit of the flower there. Then I might go in with another shade. I picked up a little bit of the dark red and put one up in the darker shade. I'm right under his feet. If I get high enough up there into that green, I can put in a pretty good white one there. Okay. Now, see right here along his feet? I went in and put theirs and done that just right along under his feet. I might put another one right up here underneath this rooster, using my white, kind of mixing my colors a little bit. Put one right up here under this rooster. You could sit here all day and just play back and forth, putting, you know, doing little tiny things. Maybe up here around this truck I stick one. Right up here in the truck. Just working back and forth with your colors and putting them out. You know, going right up into where you've got grass in other places. And putting another one down. Okay. See? So I put a little bit up under here. I even went up here in the tree, right here along this truck. I put a couple of little tiny ones in there. It's hard for you to see them and things. But the cow, see, he's coming in from the side, and he's the main thing of the picture. Everything else is just background. He's making a decision to walk right up to that farmhouse up through there. So he's looking back to see who's looking at him. Oh, but it's all just a matter of piecing it in. We're just about done with it. I've got a tree up here. I'm going to do a little bit on this tree. See this tree right up here? These are watercolor trees. I'm going to go back and put a little bit of greenery on that to reinforce that color a little bit. And I'm going to use a brush that's about half wore out, because I'm going to turn it on its edge. Let me see if I can find one here where I'm looking. As your brushes wear down, they get a little stiffer for you. You know, you can use them straight up and down as they wear down. Thanks for the hearts, girls. So I'm going to pick up my greens here, just kind of mixing those 3 shades of green, and I'm going to go right up here and dab a little bit of color. I need a little darker shade right up in that tree a little bit. I'm just going dabbing it back and forth. Just kind of think of the branches on that tree when you're putting them in there. Okay, because those trees are different. Right here, I just reinforced those couple a little bit. These trees over here are already real strong. When I designed it, I put those different trees in there. But these watercolor trees were part of one of the things I used that was connected to the truck, and I didn't want to take them out. Okay. You milk goats for 12 years twice a day. Your daughter's allergic to a cow's milk, so you had a goat. That's true. I have a good friend, girls, that makes goat milk soap. She raises her own goats, and her soaps are amazing. And she's from West Virginia. Teresa, if you're still in here, it's Gilda Wiles. Used to be Wiles. I forgot what her married name is. But she's on my Facebook, and she used to be at my shop. She's a beautiful artist, paints too. But she makes the most amazing soaps, and it's all goat milk stuff. Okay, girls, I think we've about got it. I'm going to jump over to this other one. Now I'm going to come back in and wax these, but first I'm going to spray this. I will take this outside and use my acrylic, my Rust-Oleum acrylic spray, but not in the gloss. I use the matte or the satin because I don't want it to shine. These pieces, I don't usually make them shine. I want them to be matte finished. You know, if it's a farm piece or a country piece, I don't want it to shine. So I'm going to lay this one over here and get this one that I've already done yesterday and got the coating on this. And I'm going to go in now and put a little bit of wax on it and show you how to wax it. So I've got some, this just happens to be, you can use waxes of so many different brands. Home Depot, I believe it is, has a good one called Bear, I forgot what it's called. These I just happen to be Dixie Belle. I bought them from Dixie Belle Paints, and this one is, one of them's brown and one of them's clear. So you work your way back and forth with them till you get the color you want. If you put the dark on and it gets too dark for you, then you're going to go back in. Let me see down here. A thing stopped. I don't know where I'm at. You're going to go back in with your clear and tone it down a little bit. Plus, I'm going to have a baby wipe. I've got some baby wipes here, and I'm going to use a baby wipe. You've got a little time to work with it when you're using it. You've Sherry, I'll put her link in here. She does have a page, a Facebook page, but I'll have to check and see what it is, and I will give it to you for her. The thing is with her soaps are so amazing to use, but her designs in them are beautiful. She puts flowers and stuff in them, and they're just a showpiece to set your soaps in a tray or something in your bathroom as a showpiece. You really don't want to use them because they're so pretty. But I'll find her link. And I forgot what her business name is, but I'll find it and put it in the group for you. See, this one is my clear wax, and you'll see I've been in it with my dirty brush, and this is my brown. And you want to do this after you have sealed your piece, because if you don't seal it first, you can't wipe nothing off. Your board, your wood, or whatever you're using will grab it, and you can't wipe it back off. Now, sometimes I use a brush like this. This is really a makeup brush. I set me out, okay, this right here, or I use this kind of brush to put it on with, and I don't know what these are called. It's a furniture painting brushes, but I'm not sure what they're called, but I've got those in a lot of different sizes. And then I've got these. I ordered these from Amazon, and I got them in sizes when they came in. See how tiny that is? All the way up to, I think this is the largest one. But I got a package of them that had all different. See, here's one that the things are real long and short. You can get into small places. But these are really makeup brushes. But I bought them. I think you can get them at the Dollar Tree. But it doesn't look like a brush. But when you spread it open, see, it's a brush. And you can't clean your wax brushes. The only way you're going to clean them. Hey, Tana, how are you? The only way you're going to clean your brush is just wiping it back. You can wipe it on a baby wipe when you're done, or you can just wipe it back on a towel and clean it, because you can't put any water or anything on it to clean that off. It don't work. It doesn't work. So I'm going to make me a little bit of room here. I'm all out. I've got stuff all over the place. I've got a mess today. And I've got my baby wipe handy. Make sure I didn't leave that brush. That's my striper. Okay. I'm going to take this. I'm going to start with this one, because I wanted to get down in these, around these beads. So I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to pounce it in the wax. Just get some wax on the end of it. We'll go a little bit in my brown and a little bit in my clear. Pick up a little bit of both of them. Then I'm just going to go in here and go around these beads and kind of pounce it in. See, it looks real dark when you're putting it on. I don't really want to go much up into the painting. I want to do this edge. And you've got a little time, like I said, to work with it, so you don't have to worry about it drying up on you just pounce back and forth into the two of them, because you've got time to work with it. And your baby wipe, you can wipe a lot of that off. This just gives you that kind of antique-y look. Just kind of sets it back for you, plus it makes a good cover for this outer edge. Okay, now I'm just going to take my baby wipe. I first may take just a rag. Just take a rag and wipe off and see how that looks. I may not want to use that baby wipe, but see how it's coming out there? It just kind of darkens down in the crevices, and you wipe off what you don't want. And you can wipe it back and add more until you get the effect just the way you like it. You're just doing this to suit you. And you could do the whole picture like this. If you wanted to do a whole print this way, you'd do it the same way. Got brush hairs on my painting. But you just wipe that back as you go around. And if you get a place where it's too dark and you want to use your baby wipe, then use your baby wipe to wipe that back. It's usually a fast process. And I might take this little brush and go right down in there and in where I've got it a little darker if you don't want that darker down in there. Or like I said, you can take your baby wipe and wipe that back. Now I like the dark on there, but I'll show you. See how much of that you could really wipe back if you use your baby wipe? You could do that, but I like it a little bit darker, so I'm going to put that back on there. So you just do it to suit you, and I'm going to go around my edges out of the side here. I'm just working back and forth. Anything you want to give that old look or, antique look or whatever, you can wax it. And then you can varnish right over top of your wax. You can use your spray varnish. I will spray this because varnishing around these beads is too aggravating, so I will spray varnish it. And I will use a matte or a satin varnish. I won't put a shiny varnish on it. And then you can use this as a tray. You could set it on an easel, or you could put you a hanger on the back of it and make it a door hanger, or hang it in somewhere. Okay, now see, I've got that all around the edges. Now I'm just going to wipe it back. And anywhere you get too much that you don't want that much on there, just take your baby wipe and wipe it back again. But I like this. I've not got too much on there. I like what it's doing. But be sure you seal your board. Now, if you're doing something that's not got all these grooves like these beads, you can just seal it with your Mod Podge. If you was going to do it on top of this board and not have these beads on there, just take your Mod Podge when you put this horse on, or whatever your pattern is, and you put it on, put the Mod Podge all over the whole thing. And it's all leathered soap companies, my daughter's. Hers is very decorated too. Oh, Dana's daughter's got a, put her link in there, Dana, so they can see, put a link. She makes soaps too. She's got a, put on, hey Becky, how are you? She's got a page making soaps. Stick her link in there so they'll know where she's at. Okay. Okay, I think I like that. See, just give it enough to just set it off and look like it's framed. It's not really, see, it's not real dark, but I went all the way around them edges. And like I said, you could use it for a tray. You could, if you wanted to really use this for a tray, then you can go back in and resin it. You could put resin on top of it if you wanted to really use it for a tray. Have it sitting in your kitchen or something for a tray, then I would put resin on it. And I would put just enough resin to cover the bottom. I wouldn't bring the resin up over the beads or try to do that in any way. I would just put a thin coat of resin that covered the inside of the bottom. Okay, now that's the one we done last night. And I will spray this other one, and then I will put the same thing around the edges of this other one. Now I probably will, I'll go in, I can't remember, I didn't do it to that one, but I'm going to spackle this one a little bit. I'll go ahead and put that on now so that it'll dry. Put my waxes up. And I'm just going to take my brush here, my wax brush, and go across this baby wipe with my wax brush and get all that you can off. You cannot clean it. You can't put it down in water or nothing to clean it, and it's not necessary. So I'm just going on that baby wipe and wiping my brush back. And then it's done. It's cleaned and put away. And the same way with this one. Because if you wet that brush, it'd be useless. It'd be, you couldn't do that. Okay. Now this one, I'm going to take my toothbrush and I'm going to spackle a little bit, and I'm going to use a dark, like country red. It's I'm going to use this color here. Let's see, what did we call it here? Rockwood, Heritage Brick. This is what I'm going to use on this one to kind of spackle it a little bit. Not going to get over into the painting very much. I'm just going to go around the outside edges a little bit. So I've got my toothbrush and get my palette knife up here. Put a little water in my paint so that it waters it down to just about like ink. No, I don't want this one. That's my liner brush. I want this one about like whipped cream. Don't want it to be watery, you know, just about like you would have Cool Whip before it melts down on you. Okay, now, I'm going to sneak my brush in here. Just a little bit of paint on the end of my brush. And I'm going to start right up here at the tail, and I'm going to go around the outside edges. Not going to get much over into the cow, into the picture. I'm going to cover right around the edges of it. This will also help to hide the edges of your paper. You know, this little bit of thing here, it just takes your eyes away from that. If you see, when they look at that, they look at the spackling, it takes your eyes away from that, where that paper ends over there. And my color that my wax will cover up, you know, go around the edges of the brushes, the knobs. But these little trays are beautiful gift and easy to work with. So if you're in Hobby Lobby, you need to look them up and get you some. Wood stuff will be on sale next week because it was last week, and I was in there yesterday, and it, you know, it's not on. It's every other week. What's on sale this week will be on sale 2 weeks. This week's glass brushes are on sale this week, and table decor. They had. Now I'll tell you, girls, they had over in the wood wooden trays and the metal trays, they had a beautiful tray that was we make big trays, but ours are not cheap. This one was a great price. It sold for $24, and it was half price, so it would have been, no, I think it was sold for more than that. Maybe it was $20 after it was marked down. It was $18 or $20. Anyway, it was made, the thickness was in here, but then it was kind of hollowed out underneath so that it wasn't very heavy. But it was a big wooden tray, about 18, 20 inches, and had some handles, on it. So it was a good deal. And I come a hair buying them, but Joe makes those for me, and I thought, you know, I ain't got no business buying that and taking it home when he makes them for me. So, but for you all, that's a great deal. When you go in there, go over to the section where they have the baskets and the metalware and all that, and look at the trays. Okay, I think I've got it. He looks pretty good. See? Okay, I think we're about done for today, girls. Now I will, if I don't get to do this week, we'll do 2 next week, because